So, life update, or more like life update for the past 5 or so months. I have a boyfriend. We briefly broke up for about a month. I made a video about it a long time ago. I was really sad. Don't look at that because I deleted it. But for what it was worth, that breakup was actually, we got back together because we were basically having sex like every single day, and we were just kind of like, okay, well, we might as well just get back together. So that's what happened, and I just never talked about it. I just never brought it up. That's really the only reason why. I just literally just never brought it up on YouTube. So this is me saying that right now. So in case you were wondering, that's my relationship status. So on that note, I also wanted to talk about, I guess, my views on relationships in general. So it's kind of weird to talk about for me, but I guess it is something that is part of a relationship. But my boyfriend is actually straight, and I am bisexual, but he likes me for some reason. He doesn't like guys in general, but he does like me. And that is actually something that I wanted to talk about in general, not like necessarily with me and my boyfriend, but just in a societal sense in general. I feel like I'm gonna talk about men specifically, but something that I brought up to my boyfriend a long time ago was how a lot of, if you look in society and like, and in a lot of places, you'll see like a lot of straight women, but for women, for if you're straight and you date another woman, I feel like a lot of straight women date at least one woman at least once in their lives. I'm not saying that that's like an actual fact and stuff. I'm just saying that that's moving on. When they are dating, like those women are still considered straight. Like, you know what I mean? So they're still considered straight, even though they're dating a woman and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? They can still be considered straight. That's what I'm saying. So they can still be considered straight. But for whatever reason, with men, that same thing does not apply to men for whatever reason. If you are a male and you date another guy, or you like another guy, or something like that, or you have like any interest in men, whatever at all, you are just gay. Like that. There's no in between. There's nothing else. You're just gay. And I feel like that's part of the problem. I was gonna say stigma, but problem in a lot of male spaces and stuff, because you'll see a lot of men, in all honesty, a lot of men really actually do want to explore that side of themselves. Maybe they just want to experiment with a man at least once, or to see what that's like, but there's like so much stigma against that. There's so much stigma in male spaces about that they feel like they have to repress that side of themselves or those desires or something, because they're afraid that they'll be made fun of or shamed or something like that, or they have to change themselves in some kind of way. And that's just not true. You don't have to change yourself. You don't have to be a different person. You can just be you're the same person that you've always been, but just now you're dating a guy. And I say that because a lot of straight men really do feel like they really are in. A lot of straight men really do feel like if you are interested, I feel like a lot of straight men just feel like they are not allowed to explore that side of themselves and stuff, or they just feel like they won't be they feel like they won't be straight anymore. And you can still be straight and date another guy. And here's what I mean by that. You don't have to change yourself. You can still be straight. You're just dating another guy because maybe you just wanted to see what that would be like. You just wanted to experiment, right? A lot of women experiment. And they might date a woman for a second, maybe realize that it's not for them, or they just break up for whatever reason not related to their sexuality. But in some cases, you can end up staying with that person. In my case, my boyfriend is straight, but he's interested in me and he's staying with me. So you can still be yourself. You can still be secure in your identity. If you still believe that you're straight, then you are still straight. Okay? Nothing has to change about you just because you're dating a guy. Nothing has to change about you. You do not have to suddenly go to LGBT events, go to Pride, suddenly start changing your behavior, changing your personality, all that kind of stuff. That's not true. You don't have to do that. You can just be yourself. Just be yourself. And you're just dating another guy. That's all it is. That's all it is. Okay? That's my opinion, at least. That's my opinion. You don't have to share my opinion, but that's how I feel about it, at least. And me and my boyfriend, we don't want to put too much of our relationship out there, to be honest, so we decided to keep our relationship, for the most part, pretty private. But that's what I've had to tell my boyfriend. He thought that he had to change himself. He thought that he had to be a different person. He was afraid that he had to change up his whole identity just because he's dating me, but he doesn't have to, and I had to tell him that. I had to let him know that he doesn't have to change himself, and he can just be himself, and he can just be the same old person that he's always been. And that really resonated with him, and we're still together to this day, and we still plan on being together for a very long time, probably forever. Who knows? But I guess those are my opinions on that. I know that dating straight men is generally not frowned upon, but just kind of like... But I think that sexuality is a lot more fluid than what a lot of people kind of realize. I think that we kind of put things on a spectrum from like gay to straight and stuff to like try to make sense of sexuality and put it in some kind of format that makes it seem more organized, I guess, but I don't think that that's how it works. I think that you just like who you like, basically. And some people will fit into you like this about this person, this about this person happens to be this person happens to be that, you like this and that and whatever. I think that that's more of how sexuality works, rather than just being like gay, bisexual, straight. I don't think that it really works like that. Now, what you identify as, that is important. I'm not saying that that's not important. I'm saying that it's a lot more fluid than I think a lot of people think it is. So, I guess my point is, like who you like, love who you love. You don't have to change yourself for anyone or anything, or just because you're dating a guy, or you're a girl and you're dating a girl, guy, you're dating a guy. It is what it is. Don't worry about other people's opinions. Don't worry about... You don't have to change yourself, okay? There's nothing that has to change about yourself, okay? That's all I have to say. So, that's my opinion on that particular subject. And me and my boyfriend are doing really, really good right now. And and we plan on staying together for a very, very long time. So, if you need an example of a gay straight relationship, then there you go. My relationship is basically that. And I think that we're doing pretty good, so. But I know that that's a pretty sensitive thing in general, like dating a straight guy and stuff, but it's working for us, is all I can really say. But, to each their own. It's all good. Just because you like another guy does not mean that. Just don't pay attention to what other people think. And maybe surround yourself with people that are more supportive of you and will support you and your relationship rather than try to tear you down or make you feel make you feel bad about it or feel ashamed about it or something like that. I don't think that those are people that you should really surround yourself with if they're going to make you feel that way about somebody that you're dating. Unless that person is being like really, really wrong to you in some kind of way, then that's another thing. But like if it's just that you happen to like another guy and stuff and people feel some type of way about that, I wouldn't pay attention to that at all. That is not of any of your concern. Don't worry about what other people think. Just worry about you and the person that you love. That's all I gotta say. So, yeah. Those are my opinions on that subject, and I hope that this conversation at least made you like think about something that you've maybe never thought about before, if you've never actually thought about it, or just something that kind of like maybe enlightens you in some kind of way, something maybe you just never thought about. I don't know. So I have other things that I need to do. So I'm gonna go do those other things, and